Hi, I'm Joe Crabtree, and in this video series I'm going to talk about irrational rhythms and teach you what they are and how to play them. So what is an irrational rhythm? If you are able to read drum music, you're probably familiar with whole notes, half notes, quarter notes, eighth notes, 16th notes, 32nd notes, and triplets. They are basically the fundamental things that you need when you're reading drum music. Triplets are irrational rhythms in that they don't fit into the grid, they don't divide into two basically. So if you take a whole note and you divide it into two, then you get half notes. You divide a half note into two, you get quarter notes into two, you get eighth notes. Triplets don't fit on that grid, and so you have to learn what a triplet rate sounds like. Now, you can probably already play triplets, but because we're going to be talking about quintuplets, which is dividing a beat into 5 notes, and septuplets, which is dividing a beat into 7 notes, I want to talk about why this is difficult. So the reason this is tricky, I'm going to use a metaphor of cutting up a birthday cake. If you have a cake in front of you and I say, I want you to divide this into 2 pieces, you just do a slice down the middle. That's easy, right? If you want to divide it into 4 pieces, you just divide that in 2. If you want to divide it into 8 pieces, you just go in half. Again, so you're always just dividing into 2, and it's easy to balance the 2 sides of a cake to figure out if you've got it right. If you've ever tried to cut a cake into 3 even pieces, you'll know that this is a trickier thing to do. Basically, you'll put a line on the top at 12 o'clock, and then you kind of work your way around and you go, I think about here, and then you work your way around some more, think about here, so you've made 3 cuts, and you look at the final result, and only then can you tell whether you were accurate or not. And usually, you know, one of them is slightly bigger than the others. So it's not easy to divide a cake into 3 pieces. And dividing it into 2 or 4 doesn't really help, because 3 isn't divisible into 2, and basically adding those extra grid lines doesn't help. So you're basically dividing the cake into 33 1/3% and another 33 1/3%. And the only way to get good at this is to do it over and over and over. So you get yourself 10 cakes and you have a go, and then you put your 3 cuts in and you look at the result and go, I think I started a bit big, I need to be smaller next time. So the next one, you go around, not quite the same here, and eventually you'll get to the stage where you can estimate visually where a third and a third is, and you can cut a cake into 3 pieces. It's the same musically. If you have a pulse and you're going to divide it into 2, it's kind of easy. We've got 2 hands. If you have a click, so if you were playing this with your right hand, to divide into 2, you just put your left hand in the middle, right? And to divide into 4, your right hand takes over, and then you divide in the middle again. But to divide into 3, you need to know what it feels like to play a third of the way in. And if you were a little bit early with the first one, then you end up coming before the next click. So to try and play accurate triplets, you can have a click going. I was a bit early, so you slow down a bit late, speed up a bit. And you can kind of settle on a triplet rate, but that isn't an awful lot of use if you have a piece of music that goes 16th notes, triplets, 8th notes. You need to be able to accurately start the triplet rate and jump straight into it. In the same way that you can get better at doing it with a cake by just repeating cutting different cakes and starting over, we're going to do that in this lesson with triplets. And the way we're going to do it is we'll take 8th notes and then triplets, and we'll switch between them. This concept is a Mike Mangini concept that he calls 2 numbers twice. So I'm going to do 2 and then 3, and it's set to play 2 bars each. So basically we get 2 lots of 2, 1, 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. And I call this a gear change, going between 8th notes and 8th note triplets. Okay, so the idea is to just practice that until you can really lock in that change in rate. I'm going to add 2 1s to the end, and then I can practice with polynome and then on my own. And what we're really interested in is lining up with the cowbell on the 1. 1 triplet, 2 triplet. Okay, so when you've worked switching between 2 and 3, you can then practice switching between 4 and 3. 1, 2. So this is slowing down a little bit. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. So you just practice this and try and lock in with the click. I was rushing a little bit on that one. And that's the idea. And basically, this allows you to just internalize what accurate triplets feel like. It's very easy to rush on a fill if you have to put a triplet in, and maybe you have a tendency to rush triplets, or to slow down if your tendency is to slow down on triplets. So it's a really good exercise. You can do between 2 and 3, between 4 and 3, between 8 and 3, just switching between rates that you're comfortable with. So like I say, with triplets, you're probably already relatively comfortable with triplets, but try doing this at different tempos with one hand, hand to hand, playing it around the kit, and that is good practice for solidifying your triplets. So I'm going to leave it there for this lesson. Next time we're going to look at quintuplets, which are a little trickier. If you want to check out some more lessons or find out more about Polynome or Pyramid, which is the same software for PC and Mac, then visit my website www.joecrabtree.com. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next lesson.